Okay. Well, thank you very much. That's it. All right. Well, Alan.
Well, good morning to you. How
No,
are you?
man, were you in a dirt bike? Were you in, I'm doing well. I'm doing better than I should. Let me start the recording here so we can.
All right.
Oh, I didn't say nothing. Are you gonna start the recording? Or let me do it again. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Well, hey, what people here today is like, as you see, there is host's birthday, and are there any Black people in Finland?
Well, of course, there are Black people in Finland, and happy birthday to you, Johnnie J. You're on Intervision FM. I'm operating on about 2 hours of sleep.
Oh man, you sound like my wife because I keep waking like last night, the night before, I slept until 6 o'clock. Then when we had to get up the earliest on like today, I woke up at 1 o'clock, and I woke up at 2 o'clock. Then I woke up at 3 o'clock, and of course that wakes her up. And so she's operating on the same amount of sleep, perhaps. But she pulled off a fantastic birthday gift, even though she was sleepy.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
So I guess we're in Estonia, and I guess Finland is like well, the capital of Finland is 2 hours away.
Okay.
And so she had planned, huh? Oh, by boat. Yeah, by boat. And I never been on a cruise boat before. I've been on little boats and 2 people boats or 3, maybe 4 people boats, stuff like that. But I never been on like a big cruise boat. And I didn't know that nowadays they make these boats so big that you can drive your car in the bottom part. They have a garage for your car, and you can drive your car in these boats, and it's almost like a house on the river. And I remember like the last time they did this was the Titanic, and that didn't go well, but I guess they figured out how to do this. And all I could think about is this is the story of a fairy tale. On a fateful morning, that is weather. That's it. With on a 3-hour tour. I see. Yeah, and I just kept thinking about that, about Gilligan Island.
That's awesome. Shout out to Bob Denver.
Yes, and I kept telling her because my wife, she didn't grow up in Colorado, so she didn't see well, in America, Gilligan Island in the '60s and stuff like that.
Sure.
So that I was kind of remember all the words, like who was who, and so anyway, so we get on this ship, and we have a little breakfast, veggie sandwiches upstairs and stuff like that. And so then we finally we do the 2 hours. Sometimes and most of the people on the ship at 6 o'clock in the morning are going to work.
Okay.
All right. And because I wanted to get back home because I had this business call at 8:30, which didn't make it. I'm not sure what everybody else but this guy called. And I said, I want to do my show today because I want to talk about this. And so people were sleeping on couches and stuff like that on this cruise ship. Nice cruise ship, right? So then we get there. Huh? What's that? Huh? Oh, yeah. And some of them, like, they had an alarm to wake up, and I thought it was my phone. I said, "Did I set my alarm?" The alarm was going off, and I guess I said, "Wow, I figured they take that 2 hour sleep, or before they go to work and all that kind of stuff." So we get there, and we take the tramway, which is this electrical car that we used to have in Denver, and you see like remnants of it, but now we have the electric cars. And another thing you would notice that there's no power lines in the sky, and they figured out to put the power lines underneath the city, which I'm not sure why we can't figure that out. Yeah.
So all of their transportation needs are fed by underground power lines under the roads.
Yep. Yep.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you some other stuff. But and I remember, okay, we going around and looking at these different statues and things. We saw this one statue that was made 100 years ago, and it was one of those Hugh Hefner. Let me think about it. Oh no, maybe Hugh Hefner statues before he was born. 100 years ago, somebody had made this statue of this naked lady with sea lions around her, right? And I guess it was a fountain, right? And I guess this was controversial back 100 years ago. Yeah,
I would imagine it would have been.
Yes. So, they weren't ready for Hugh Hefner. He was still like a thought in Grandpa Hefner's loins. Right? So this was this big okay. So they had this, and I guess we took I took some pictures and stuff like that and videotape it, which I'll probably play on a later show because I don't have enough bandwidth to edit stuff here to put it on, and it just doesn't work.
Right.
Then we went around, and it's just this old guy playing this. What's that? It's like a piano, and you squeeze it, go in and out. It's like
an accordion.
Accordion, yes. So we saw this old guy playing an accordion, and so we videotaped him a little bit. Then we went to this food booth, and we read off like all these like delicious things they had, but it wasn't lunchtime. It was like, this is like breakfast time. So we was telling this girl, hey, and I didn't know because I'm hearing like this girl can speak Russian, she speak English, speak Finland. I'm not thinking like, oh, could this be a black girl or why? Who is it? I'm just thinking like, I want something yummy. But then she says, no, only thing we have is oatmeal and you have your three choices of either berries, strawberries, or banana, or butter, and those are your combination. And I said, oh no. And it brought me back to this night. It's in my book. The first battle I had with my mother was her trying to make me eat her lumpy oatmeal. And every time I hear oatmeal and I'm in, either a restaurant or another kind, I'm thinking, I hope they know how to make oatmeal not lumpy, because I learned how to do it, and my daughter say my oatmeal is the best. And so I think, oh, I'm in another country. Oh man, I say, should I take a chance? And I said, okay, I'll take a chance. It's only for the two of us, only $13 or euros or whatever it is, Okay. So I take a chance, and I did the berries, bananas, cinnamon, and it was, and I showed on my video, fantastic, creamy. And then Natalia said, "Oh, did you know that's a black girl?" And I said, "I didn't know." I was like, "There's a black girl, working here in Finland, and she knows, and because I saw it in Russia, like, a lot of like the black people, they knew like 5 languages, like, and they're from Africa and stuff like that. So I don't know if she was from. I didn't get a chance to talk to her because she was kind of busy, doing her thing, serving the people, stuff like that. But I was very curious because very clean, English, and then and then she switched over to Finland talk and stuff like that. And Finland it almost sounds like it's backwards and musical. It's almost like a musical type of language.
Wow, fascinating.
And so I'm listening, like the way of the speaking. And I might try to record some of it because it's, and then maybe I might try to put it on a recorder and then flip it and see if it says something other than what it's saying. See if it makes sense if I run it backwards, because it sounds like people are speaking backwards, but in a musical sing-song way.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
So I'm gonna definitely capture some conversation before we leave, and then try that little experiment. And so I was surprised, because I'm thinking like, wow, I'm thinking like it's a northern countries, it's cold, I was even surprised when in Russia they have this school, and a lot of the African kids, and I guess in America it costs $10,000 to go to school at our colleges, but in Moscow I think it's like around like maybe 4,000 or 6,000. So parents think economically get good education either here or there, and save them a little bit of money.
Right.
Another thing about what I found out, because we took a tour bus, and they talked about the school system. Now they start their kids off a little later, like I think are like around 7 years old in school, and they say less is better. And so the kids doesn't stay to school all day. They do like maybe a half day, and they give them less homework, but they are like in the top 5 of European schools. And I'm thinking, America, I know America think we're the big experiment, but let's experiment with that and try to figure that one out. Because our kids are coming out 64% not able to read at a grade level. And here at this school, it's coming out with, in the top 5, and people have been going there to figure out like, what are they doing? And, they let kids be kids. They're not teaching their kids adult topics. They're not giving them synonyms and remonyms to try to remember. They're just teaching basic what they need to know to survive in the world. Then it was something else it was saying in the door. Let's see, this next part, let's see if I can get this right. Oh, they were the first country that, I don't want to say that they were the first country or this, because they said something about when they get women the chance, I guess the chance to vote, the women got together and said, let's vote in the 11th president, which is a female lady, Tanja, and she was a president from March of 2001 to March of 2012. Right, and I was kind of thinking like, okay, we came. Well, Hillary Clinton, which I don't think she was a good candidate at all, but
right.
She ran. Shirley Chisholm ran back in 1972. If you remember that.
Wow, no, I was just born.
Yeah, so she ran. Then let's see, there was another. I don't know if there was another lady, but I remember Shirley Chisholm. She ran, and so I'm thinking like, okay, when the suffragettes they got their rights to vote, I have a feeling that their husbands steered them away from putting up a female candidate, because as you know, like when the blacks got their chance to vote, they voted Republican, and they put in Republican guys until the Democrats figured out a way how to intimidate them into voting them into office and getting the black Republicans out. So I have a feeling it was that same kind of jealousy of the men saying, okay, ladies, you got the chance to vote, but we don't think you're ready to run for president or anything like that in the 1900s.
Fascinating.
I think the American man's a little bit more jealous, maybe a little bit more controlling.
We do appear to be somewhat behind the times in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So I thought that was fascinating. So then, what was another place? Different parts of the trip, you can get out of the bus and go explore more about, like, different stops. So they had this one thing where they it was called the Rock House, the Rock House, and they do concerts in it, and it's a concert hall dug out of a rock, and it has this great acoustics. So some people jumped off and they went up there to check that out, but we didn't have that much time. We had only we had a window that we had to stick into to get back on the boat to get back to do the show. And it was like fantastic weather. Then it was something else they said. They said that this country is a welfare country, and of course, when I hear welfare, my mind goes south. I'm thinking like welfare because it doesn't work too well here, but there, I guess in Europe, welfare they do either twice or triple welfare policies than America. America is at 11%, and a lot of countries are either double or more than that. And it seemed to be working because, I'm going to say why I think it's working. Then I'm going to say what else maybe could be happening, but I need to find out a little bit more. Okay, we were in the capital, and there was no capital of Holland. There was no, homeless people going around asking for money. It was a tourist part, and it seemed like they had that stuff under control. Now we know mental instability. It happens no matter what country you're in.
Sure.
Right, but somehow they were able to keep those people out of the capital, and the city was very clean, and so I'm thinking, when I was in California in the '80s, the Pope came to America, and he came to downtown Los Angeles, and they cleared all the homeless out. Okay, but we know that was for the Pope. Then when I came back to Denver, the Pope came again, and they cleared out all the homeless people. Then just this past July, the baseball came to Denver, and they cleared out all the homeless people. Right. Now I have a feeling that this capital, they didn't clear out homeless people, but I have a feeling that if there are any mentally deranged or homeless thing going on, that they have maybe medical centers or maybe things to address that and keep it out of the visual sight of others, because I didn't see any blind people there either, and I didn't see any people deaf people signing or anything like that either in the Capitol. And
so you're saying social medicine is advanced in some parts of the world, and your question is, are there still folks with mental or physical disabilities that are slipping through the cracks, that kind of thing?
Well, maybe not slipping through, or maybe they have a system where they're either in an institution, like, because I heard, I had this guy, we walk past him every once in a while, and he says, Johnny, did you know that about, I think it was like 5 years ago, they let all the people that were in Pueblo Hospital, which is a mental institution, they let them out, and they had to go somewhere. And you see people screaming at themselves and screaming at the sky and all that kind of stuff. And I said, no, what? This is where they came. This is where they ended up. They let them out of there, and now they're here, right? And I have a feeling that maybe in this country they have set up a system where they house people with that kind of like disturbance, and they're able to. And if you're not able to function, this is where you are. Now, as far as like the blind people and stuff, I'm going to do some further like checking, because it just really fascinated me that I just love seeing that a city that's, and in America it used to be like that. you used to have this commercial with the Native American. It was a white guy playing a Native American, and he would have a tear in his eye, and they would show a picture of a piece of trash in the river, and this tear in the Native American eye, saying, "When you litter, you destroy America," right? And we really had this campaign, And then I said, "What happened?" Because there's trash everywhere downtown. I mean, nobody seemed to. I mean, and there's trash cans, but these guys, the people, they feed them. They feed the churches come down there and feed them, and they just throw their bags wherever they want to throw them. And I'm thinking, like, I know we shan't be your mama, but somebody has to say, hey, somebody has to be at the line saying, hey, when you get through with your food, we have trash bags here. I never hear any of that. If they do say it, I'm not there long enough to hear it, but here, it was just, I don't know. So anyway, learn a lot about it. If you go out there, you get on the tour bus, and it just really, it's so much information. I can't tell you all the information that I got on there, but it was just stuff that just stuck out about the country, the electrical, the wiring systems, why we can't do the same here. And I know, we have the foundation of the lines above, but we can if we, instead of spending 10% on the infrastructure like this last that last gigantic bill did, if we spent 40-60% on infrastructure and put those power lines underneath the street and really put forth that, I would be more behind that than all these electrical cars and all this other solar and all that kind of stuff than that, because I think that would really make a difference, But then we got back on the boat, and so it was time for lunch.
Okay.
And so we got on the bus, and it was not in the bus, the boat, the ship. And so there was more people, because now these are people that are tourists, real tourists, And so before, it was like 20 that got on the boat to go to work that we saw that was like getting on the boat. Now it's like an arm. It was like we couldn't even count how many people were coming back across. And we met this couple from Ohio, because I heard the accent. I said, "That's an American." And
right.
You could tell. You could just tell. It was an older couple, and I said, "That's an American." So we asked them, and the only thing they know about Colorado is like, "Wow, aren't those fires terrible in Boulder?" And I said, man, the media really make sure that you guys really don't know much about Colorado, because a lot has happened since that Boulder fire.
Right.
so it's like,
they're still circulating a story that happened a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's like, I'm thinking like, there's a lot of stuff going on here. With this police, we had this police lady in Aurora that called Children's Services on her opponent, because her opponent said something discouraging about her, and so they came in and took this 2-year-old from this lady based on a phone call that the police chief lover made. And I said, man, there's things going on here in Colorado that will make your head spin.
Oh yeah.
So it was just interesting. So I said, no, I'm gonna keep it light. It's my birthday. I'm not gonna engage these people a little bit more about Colorado. So then we went up to this. It's called a Finland. It's like a Finland meal, but it's like it's what we would consider to be a buffet, all you can eat.
Okay.
Yeah. And I definitely indulged. I mean, I had me a plate of a bunch of veggies, and then I said, oh, okay, that salmon looks kind of good. So did another plate, and then the final plate. Well, finally, it was this dessert with the lemon pie. Then something I shouldn't have did. I know a long time ago that when I eat ice cream, it causes the symptoms of gout. But
Ah, bummer.
sometimes I'll go off and do. So I had one ice cream earlier, I think this week or last week, and I said, okay. Then I had another one today, and then those symptoms started to flare up, and I said, I know
Ow.
what happens.
Ooh.
So I said, okay. I told my wife, I said, no more ice cream. I know what happens. It was very tasty, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I was almost tempted. We have an older friend named Pat. She's like 94, 96, and she goes to Germany. And she says sometimes she'll either go to like a Kia or like places like that, and she'll she'll have a little Ziploc, and she'll put some food in her Ziploc to go. And I was kind of get my wife like, come on, because they have this like gummy bear type of candy. It's like a Swedish type. And I said,
Okay.
this is really. I said, go over there, give me 5 more of those. Put it in the napkin, and let me go. And she said, no, I'm not gonna do that. I said, come on, they won't see you.
Yeah.
But okay, but I guess they sell those things at Ross here in Denver. So I had to. What? Many people what? Oh yeah, I already talked about that. Yeah. But I was tempted, and then we went because they have a place for kids to play, and so I was surprised. We went to this place. You know, after this restaurant, we went. Just walking around to walk off the food a little, and we went through. I guess Burger King.
Okay.
And these kids were just running back and forth, back and forth. Like I think they were like maybe like 2-year-old, 1.5-year-old, something like that, without any socks. You could just hear the little feet like dun 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 dun, and running back and forth and running back. And I said, how can they eat Burger King when they have like that restaurant upstairs that serves better food? But I don't think they have a play place for the kids at the other restaurant. So maybe they said, well, Burger King has this little, and it has like the movies for kids, and they have the toys in there and the books and stuff like that. But it just kept hearing these kids running around and screaming and stuff like that. It was kind of funny to see the contrast between upstairs where the buffet was, and
Right.
then downstairs with the
Downstairs,
Burger
you got the kids at a
Burger.
Burger King and wow.
Yeah. So, but I mean, like I said, this is a huge boat, and it was just a nice trip, a very fantastic birthday, and really enjoyed it. And we got back right before, because it said when we left it was 52 degrees, and it said it was high was going to be 68, and it ended up they said with the chance of rain in the afternoon. Well, we got back just before the rain started.
Man,
So-
that's awesome. That's awesome.
So we lucked out. Yeah. So I know I hogged up the show, but I just have to tell people, like, if you've never been to Finland, you should go visit, and you will enjoy. And people are very helpful, very very helpful, because we was kind of figure out how to buy the tickets to go, and I guess it's a thing where you could pick the language and stuff like that. But
Wow.
it was just nice that we found some young people that helped us like figure that stuff out. So it was cool. It was cool.
Well, I'm glad you had a happy birthday, Johnny J. You're on Intervision FM, folks. Send us some love at paypal.me/Intervision Denver. That's the best way to go ahead and help us out to keep the lights on, keep these programs brought to you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment if you want. And we have an email address at info at intervisionfm.com. I'm doing this on 2 hours of sleep.
Oh man, yeah, I know. My wife, she can relate to you. I don't know. It's just weird. I have the best dreams here, but some nights, I have the good dreams, and then I wake. I don't know. I sit up there thinking, because I was just thinking about just some funny stuff that has gone on. You go back and look at your life and say, oh, that was kind of funny. And so maybe I was thinking about coming down the birth canal of my mother and it's really weird. She says I was born at 3:30 a.m., but my birth certificate says I was born at 3:30 p.m. So I'm kind of figuring like, okay, who should I believe? The birth certificate? Maybe they made a mistake and put a p.m. instead of an a.m. Or did she make a mistake? Well, everybody is pretty much gone who could have told me, but I didn't learn that until like much later on. That when somebody started reading my birth certificate and said, "Hey, this is written, this time is written on there." So she was already, in the realms of dementia. So I couldn't go back to her and say, "Hey, Mom, I need you to go back about so many years and give me the lowdown what really happened."
Right.
So I don't know if I popped out in the morning or the evening, but it seemed like I'm a night person, so maybe I popped out in the morning.
Well, I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night. Hit us up at intervisionfm.com with your comments. However you're watching us, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on one of our other platforms, give us some love. Don't forget to hit us up with an email topic at info@intervisionfm.
Yep.
And in the subject line, just let us know if there's something that you want us to cover on a later show.
Yeah. Now next week, we're going to be gearing up to head back to Denver, so we may do another trip. So I don't know for sure if we're going to be doing the show next week. And then on the first, which next Wednesday will be, I think that will be the first on Wednesday. We'll be definitely on the plane. We'll be flying into the future. I think that's what it is. It's like, so we fly back into the future, we fly into the future. So we'll leave on the first and get back on the first.
So I'll let people with bigger brains than I got try to figure that one out. Go home and get some sleep.
All right. So that's going to do it for us today. And hey, I don't know if go and read some more about Finland because it's a fascinating country. So
absolutely.
All right. See you guys